Hello, hello viewers, how are you all? I hope you are all doing well. If you can hear me, please give me a thumbs up so that we can start with today's session. If you can hear me all and see my book properly, please thumbs up so that I can understand that it's visible clearly and audible. So let's start today's session. So first of all, I would like to tell you that as I took your first session of drawing free online live classes, and I promised you that I will take every Friday at 4 p.m. but that couldn't possible for me. Very sorry for that. I was so busy, and now as today is Thursday, I promise you that every Thursday at 4 p.m. I'll be doing this live for you all, and these live classes will be free of the cost, and we'll learn many things here, drawing and painting course from the scratch. So dear viewers, in first class, in the session which I took at first, in my first session, we learned the basic shapes there, where we started with line, slanting line, vertical and horizontal. I'm just revising one so that you can understand and recall everything. After that, I introduced you with few pencils like 2B, 4B, 6B, 8B and 10B. After that, I had told you about the drawing and painting. Soft pencils are from 2B, 4B, 6B, 8B, 10B, and HB is the hard pencil. I also told you that we'll be doing painting course which includes composition, geometric design, letter writing, still life and designing. Hereafter, I taught you the basic shapes, which were rectangular, triangle, square, oval, circle, cylindrical and cone. So this many things we have already done in our first chapter. Now moving on to second, I had told you that we'll be starting with shading and also the basic the solid shape of those basic shapes. So if you wish to learn drawing, then it is very useful for you, of course. But if you are not learning only drawing, but if you are a simple math student, still it is going to be very helpful for you, especially the small children. Those who want to learn the shapes can also watch my video, and they'll be beneficial of this. Now I'll just I'll just tell you what will be the basic today's how many topics we are going to cover today. So let me note down here and you'll be able to see it and learn it today. So today is our second class, day 2, and today first of all I am going to teach you is solid shapes. I am going to teach you solid shapes, also how to draw them and how to give shading on it. Okay, then the second thing we are going to learn is about tones, the different tones we are going to learn, among which many are there, how to use pencil, how to start with the shading. So many things we'll be covering today. After that, I'll be teaching you. So here in tones, there will be different kind of shadings. Then the third thing we are going to learn is light and shadow effect. How to give light and shadow effect, we are going to learn that also. I hope it is very clearly visible. Then the fourth thing which we are going to learn is perspective drawing. Perspective drawing. So in perspective drawing, this is very useful to the engineering students also, those who are planning to take this subject as their career. So it is going to be very helpful for them also. So let's start with solid shapes first. I'm using papers here. You can use anything like drawing books. The on day one, I had told you that in our second class we'll be needing these all pencils. So I hope you are all ready with these basic pencils, starting with 2B, 4B, 6B, 8B and 10B. We'll need one simple eraser and a sharpener. That's it. So let's start. So for drawing basic shapes, we'll be starting with cuboid, as we started in our day one with rectangle. So the name of the solid shape of rectangle is cuboid. So let's start it. Okay, so as we have done in our first session, we drew one rectangle. So we'll again draw the same rectangle. I hope you have all practiced this whole month. I'm really very sorry I couldn't take your live in last month, as I was not well and I was not keeping well. I was so busy also. So these all the things were there. Now let's recall how we had drawn the rectangular shape. Now as we have drawn this rectangular shape, let's take out the solid shape of it. So it is going to similar like a box. So these things while drawing, definitely I know that few people feel very difficult to draw the exact cuboid or exact box shape. In simple language we can say a box shape. So let's see. If you have practiced, I'm very sure that you will be able to draw this rectangular very easily. So the two sides are equal is called rectangle. Now what we have to do is we just have to make the same shape behind this shape. So I'm going to tell you the tricks. There are many ways by which you can draw this and learn this, but the easiest way I'm going to tell you, the easiest way to draw this cuboid is, first you have to draw a simple rectangle and behind it draw one more the same rectangular. This is very helpful for children. Those who want to learn, they can easily use it for drawing these kind of cuboids. So the same one rectangular I have drawn here, the another one I have drawn here. Now only thing is left is we will just join these four lines and it will look like a box. You can see that we have converted a simple rectangular into a box. So this is the easiest way to draw it, because generally what happened when we try drawing a box, generally we do a mistake. Sometimes what we do it in this way. This is again a box, but we are not able to draw it correctly and it becomes fail. So this is the easiest way to draw a cuboid. So the solid shape of rectangle is cuboid. So we will have to learn it, and the only thing by which you can learn it is practice. So we are going to practice it a lot. Once again, I'll teach you a very easy procedure. First, let's draw a simple rectangle, like this. Now again, as I had told you earlier, that you need to see it like this. Hold it in front of your eyes, and then you will see that there will be mistakes. So you have to watch it carefully. So maybe I think I have to correct this line. Okay, so first we will draw a rectangular box, then we'll draw one more rectangular box behind this box. There should be no two lines, there will be only one line. So as you have drawn these two boxes, you just need to join these two boxes like this. And as I have told you earlier also, many times when I teach, I told earlier that you need to draw one line, and among those scattered lines you will find a beautiful and a correct and straight line. So never draw first a very dark line, always draw very light-handedly, and then you find out your original line and erase the other lines. So this has become a cuboid. The first shape which we have drawn is cuboid. Now this is the learning part of the basic solid shape. After this we will learn how to shade it. Now the first shape was rectangular, and we have converted it into cuboid, that is the solid shape of rectangular. Now the second one was square. If you remember my first class, so there it was square. If you remember, it was square. So again we will have to draw that square. So please watch carefully and learn the technique how to draw the square. As you know, square means all the four sides should be equal. So I am drawing very fine and light lines. If you want to check whether our square is perfect or not, then you will have to, after drawing this, you will have to use ruler just to check. But when you will do lot of practice, you will be easily understood that the four lines are equal or not. Right now I think it is correct. So let me once cross check myself. I will take a ruler and I'll check whether it is a square or not. Okay, so here I have a ruler with me. Let's check. Okay, this is 4 centimeter. This is 4 centimeter. Wow, this is again 4 centimeter, and this is also 4 centimeter. So see, in front of you I have drawn, without the help of ruler, I have drawn a beautiful square which is perfect. So as square is done, now we have to convert this square into solid shape. So as we have done in this rectangular, the same procedure we will use here, but this is cube, right? Which shape is this? This is cube. Now you must understand that all these lines should be equal in it. So if it is 4 centimeter, this is also 4 centimeter. If this is also 4 centimeter, then these lines and the shape which we are drawing at back will also be 4 centimeter. So let's try this. So one more box either we will draw, or first we will draw 4 centimeter line. Anyway you can do it. So now I am just doing is I am drawing 4 centimeter lines, tilted lines like this, very light lines, so that if there is any mistake you can erase it and correct it by your imagination. You can draw these lines and you will understand that which is the correct line among these scattered lines. So I think we'll have to just see whether it is correct or not. So let's darken it and find out the exact line among it. The accurate line you will have to take out among these lines, and I got that. Now your all the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 sides should be equal, makes the cuboid. Cube. So now I'll be erasing the extra lines which has come out, so it will give us a perfect cube in this way. It is giving a transparent effect which looks very beautiful. So our cube is done. This is the solid shape of square. So we are learning today solid shapes. Okay, so as we have completed cube, now we will move ahead and we'll be learning sphere. So now sphere is the solid shape of circle. So first we will have to draw circle. Let's see how to draw that. Just rotate your hand in this position as I had taught you in first class, and then among these scattered lines you will get a perfect circle. So just try to find out how to take out the perfect circle, and then I'll be teaching you how to convert it into a solid shape. Okay, now we will have to erase the extra lines. And this will give you a circle. Okay, as we have completed drawing circle, now we will convert it into a solid shape. So the example of the solid shape of circle is football, a ball. So now how to join and how to make the sphere of this is like this. Just you have to draw one more circle behind it, but it won't be perfect in the sense it will join it and it will be little smaller than this, and this will happen only through the shading. This will happen means the sphere will look only through the shading. So later on we'll be completing it, as this is the part of shading. So we are not doing it right now, we are leaving it, as this is the important part of solid shapes. So I just taught you how to do that, but when we'll give shading it will look perfect. But as we have not started shading yet, I cannot right now teach you that. So just I am writing here, the name of it is sphere. Now we will go ahead and we'll make a triangle, and we'll draw a solid shape of triangle. So first we will have to draw a triangle, and this will give you a beautiful shape of pyramid. Yes, so now you have understood how to draw a pyramid. After learning this you will get it. So as we have drawn a triangle first, now what you have to do is, here somewhere here you will have to draw it like this, and this will don't if you want to make it transparent, that's up to you, but the solid shape of triangular is pyramid shape, which is this one. So it's very easy, not the difficult one. I know you may face problem in drawing cuboids and cube, that will give you the perfect shape only through practice. If you do practice, you will get it easily. So this is your pyramid shape. Moving on to next one. The next one is, okay, so as we did earlier, the basic shapes, I should keep those papers in front of you always, so that you can understand out of which we are taking out these solid shapes. As we had done this rectangular, and we have made a cuboid, triangular, a pyramid, square, a cube. Then moving on to circle is your sphere. Then we will do oval. Oval is again same like sphere, so we are leaving it right now. Then moving on to cone shape. Okay, so let's try making the cone shape, the solid shape of cone. So let's try that. Let me take out another paper. Okay, and for this again we will have to first draw a cone. For that, this is actually a solid shape itself, but still with the help of shadings we'll be able to make it a perfect one. So as we are starting with shadings today, you'll easily understand how to do that. So it started looking like a solid shape already, as I have given a beautiful curve over here for the cone shape like this, and this is your solid shape for the cone. We will have to give many shadings into it, which will clear your idea of cone. Right now I'm just filling it completely so that you will not get confused and it is easy to understand for you all. Okay, after this solid shape, we have, I think, completed the solid shapes: cuboid, cube, sphere, pyramid, and this is cone. Now, after these 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 shapes, we'll move on to different kinds of tone. To start with shadings, first we have to learn the different tones of the pencil, light and shadow effect, and the gradation of the pencil, which will come only through practice again. So let's start learning shading. So let's take a fresh page for it, which will give you a perfect idea how to start with. Okay. So for learning shadings, we'll be starting with tones. Let me write here. Tones. Dear friends, what do you understand by tones? Yes, you're absolutely right. Tones are light, middle, and dark, right? So let me write everything here, and then I'll be teaching you how to move on to that. Okay. So first one is, I hope I am very clearly audible. If not, you can definitely write me. Okay, I think I'm audible. So let's move ahead and starting with the tones first. Okay, so I'll be writing here every name, and then I'll be showing you how to do that. So the first one is very light tone. The second one is light tone. Third one is middle tone. And fourth one is dark tone. And the last and the very dark is very dark tone. So now we will learn how to do that. Let's start learning with very light tone. As I had already told you while taking the first session of the class, I had told you about the pencils. So we'll be using 2B for very light tone, or we can use HB also. 2B, then 4B, then 6B, then 8B, and then 10B. I have multiple, so I'll keep it aside, and let's start using 2B first because it gives you lighter tone. Okay, so the very light tone is, you will have to learn it, how to hold the pencil. Then you will have to understand how much pressure you have to give on a pencil to give a very light tone. So you can hold the pencil, when we write, we hold the pencil like this, as I had told you this in everything, all these things in my first class. But as we are starting with the shading now, for giving a very light tone, you will hold the pencil like this so that more pressure won't be there. So in this way, you will start giving a very light tone of shading. You can understand how to do that. So I have done this with 2B pencil. You will have to use these pencils continuously, and you will have to understand which pencil give you what kind of shading. Now light tone. This was very light tone. Then light tone. For light tone means darker than very light. Okay. So a little more pressure than very light tone. I had used 2B again here. with more pressure on my hand. So this is your light tone. Then moving on to middle tone. Here I'm going to use 4B. Now you must ask me why 4B? Because the softness of 4B is more than 2B. So that's the reason. Also I'll be giving more pressure, but we should use 4B for the middle tone. So see, if I'm giving and how I'm holding it, you have to understand it. So this will be your middle tone, which is darker than light tone. So in this way you will be using this pencil. So right now I'm just teaching you the difference between very light, middle, dark and very dark tone. I have used here 4B pencil. Now moving on to dark tone. For dark tone I'll be using 6B. I'll be using 6B. Why? Because not only I'll give more pressure while drawing with this pencil, but also I want a darker pencil. So that's why I'm using 6B for the dark tone. So you must be able to differentiate between these tones. I am very sure that you are learning it and enjoying learning. Those who are absolute beginners, as you have all requested me a lot to take the absolute beginner classes, this is for you all. You can learn for free and understand everything. So now this is dark tone. I have used here 6B pencil. You can purchase any company pencils. There is no special thing like I'm using Camlin high quality pencils. You can use any pencil. Now moving on to very dark tone. For this I'll be using either 8B or 10B. Now what is the difference between 8B and 10B? That I'll be telling you. But first let's start with very dark tone. Then later on I'll be telling you where and how to use it. Okay, so for very dark tone I am using 8B right now. So not only I will need a very soft pencil, but also I will have to give more pressure for shading than dark tone. So easily you can understand the difference between these all tones, and this is I have used here 8B. Now as I was telling you that what is the difference between 8B and 10B. You can use both the pencils, right? But the difference is when you need a very dark gradation or the shading which will completely fill the passage. For example, let me draw a small box here. Let me draw a small box and then I'll explain you why and where to use 8B and 10B. So these are two boxes. Okay, this is 8B and this is 10B. Now I'll be using this both the pencil. So this is 8B. It is obviously we are using it for very dark tone. I'm not giving much pressure on the pencil right now, but it is 8B. Now suppose I want to give shading in hair or a eyeball where the eyeball is absolutely black in color. So I'll be using there 10B to give a very thick stroke which will completely fill the box. So it gives a very good gradation. For this feeling of the gradation, I use this 10B. So because see the lead of the 10B, it's very thick instead of 8B, or if you will find 4B, this is very thin, 2B is absolutely thin. So in this way, that's the reason we use 10B to fill the part completely. 8B will also work for it. That doesn't mean that 8B will not work, but in this way. So this is the difference between 8B and 10B. So let's recap it. Let's recap for every tones. This is very light, where I have used 2B. For light tone, I had used 2B again. Then for middle tone, I had used 4B. Then for dark tone, I had used 6B. And for very dark tone, I used 8B. So I hope it is very clear to you all that these are the tones, different tones. Now when you will start shading, then you will understand that we have to learn this before starting with the shading part. Now we'll go ahead and we'll be learning different types of strokes. These were tones. Now we will learn how to give the strokes. Giving strokes is very important part of your learning drawing, because without that you won't be able to give any shading. So there are many techniques by which you can start giving shadings. So let's start with the shadings now. I hope everything is clear. My voice, I'm audible and you are able to clearly see the paper which is here. Okay, so let's start with shadings now. So there are many names for shadings, but I'll be teaching you in a very simple way, so that you won't have to learn it like as we are doing literature of the drawing. No, we'll be doing it practically, which will be easily understand. Okay, so let's start let's start with the shading. Okay, so I'll be teaching you only two techniques today. There are many techniques of shading, but I'll be teaching you two techniques. The first one is, why only two? Because these are very important. Every artist must know these techniques. The name of the technique is hatching. The first one is hatching, and there are we can also write it small short strokes, which is of small short strokes, is called hatching. Now what is hatching and how to do that? Let's learn it. So I'll be again using 2B here. So these are small short strokes by which you are trying to give shading to your picture. It's called hatching. Okay, then this is again, here you will have to understand that as we have already learned how to give tones, in hatching again you will have to give the tones. So maybe this is very light, then as we had used 2B again for light tone, this is very light. Then so what you will have to do for it, you just have to draw these lines very near to each other, which will give a little darker effect to your shading. But this is hatching, where you are not drawing a complete line, but you are drawing small short strokes is called hatching. Then the darker of it is short strokes, but with little more pressure on your hand, and the holding of the pencil will be little different. So this is called hatching. Now the second one is cross hatching. Now what is this? As you have already learned hatching, you must understand that cross means you will have to cross it and give the hatching. Now there are 5 steps. There are 5 steps to learn in cross hatching. So we'll learn it very easily and you will understand it how to do. The very first thing, the very first step of cross hatching is, I'll be writing step by step so you'll understand it. It may seem that it is boring, but if you will learn in this way step by step, I am absolutely sure that you'll be a great artist one day. But the only thing, the basic thing is practice. Okay, starting with cross hatching. Step 1, just draw lines. What you have to do is just draw lines. Now I'll be telling you how to give these lines. Why I have zoomed it? Because to show you perfectly, I think it is clear. Okay, wait a minute. Okay. Just give me a moment. It is going to be absolutely clear. Okay, I think it's clear now. Yes. Okay. So cross hatching, the first step of cross hatching is how to give a stroke. The first stroke, the first step. So hold your pencil like this, put a point over here, and with full confidence just give a stroke. Again, put a point, give a stroke. Put a point, give a stroke. This is shading. And if you will draw a simple line like this is not called shading. There will be no confidence in this line, but either you should have to give it like this. Just keep the pencil tip here and just release. Give the pressure and release. So in this way you will have to give the shading with full confident strokes. Now step 2, moving on to step 2. So this is your first step of cross hatching. Now step 2 is, again, first give these lines and cross it. You must be remember that we had learned how to draw slanting lines right and left side. So if you have done that practice, I am very sure that you will be able to do this cross hatching. So the second step is, again I am showing you first these lines and then cross it. So as we put the point here and took it upwards and release the pressure, the same way put the tip of the pencil here and release. So this is your cross hatching. Once again I'll tell you. And cross it. This is your cross hatching step 2. Now step 3. Step 3, again strokes, cross, but here the lines will be very near. So one more time on the same lines. One more time. Why we are doing this? The step 3 is your darker shade of cross hatching. Means what we did? We simply give these strokes but very near to each other. But it should not be completely filled again. The crosses should be visible. So this is your cross hatching. Now the fourth step, step 4. Now I think you are understanding that gradually as we are going down with our steps, the shade is going darker, right? So that is the reason in this way we have to do it. Now in the fourth step, first these lines, then up to down, and then straight. I think it's clearly visible. Let me zoom it and show it to you once again how to do the fourth step of our cross hatching. So here we start. Okay, let me take it toward this side so that it would be visible clearly. This is the fourth step. First stroke like this, then like this, which is cross, and then like this. See the force, pressure and confidence of every line, which will give a perfect shading. Now these were our 4 steps. First only lines, then we crossed it, then we just filled it with one more crosses, and then on 4th step like this, upwards, downwards and straight. So these are our 4 steps. Now which is the last step? The last step is the light to dark with cross hatching. Light to dark with cross hatching. So the 5th step will be, I'll be showing you here. Just let me draw a straight line to make a part of it. Okay. Step 4. Now what is step 4? Step 4 is, we'll start with lines. Then the second step means in 4th step or this will be the 5th step, though this is 5th step. So 5th step includes all the 4 steps into it. So this is first, then second, we'll start from here, is cross, then 3rd step, very near to each other, though lines should be visible, and the 5th one, cross hatching, and then straight lines also. So it's clear that it has started from light to little light, dark, then very dark and absolutely dark. So in this way it goes. The 5th step is the combination of all 4 these steps. Clear? So I hope you are learning everything properly. If you have any questions, please ask me write in the comment box and ask me. So Once again, we'll start with what we have done. As first we started with the solid shapes. We did cuboid, then we did cube, we did sphere, we did pyramid, these four solid shapes. Then moving on to tones, we learned tones, which was very light, middle, dark, and very dark tone. Then we learned shading. In shading, we learned two types: hatching, cross hatching. Hatching was very simple, small, short strokes. Cross hatching, there were four, no, five steps were there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and the compilation of all the four makes the fifth step. So till here, I hope it is absolutely clear to you all that what we are doing today, what we have learned today. After this, we'll be moving on to light and shadow effect. That this thing is very important when we learn solid shapes. You must be knowing what is the light and shadow effect. So let's take this page again, and I'll be teaching you how to give light and shadow effect on the solid shapes. So that's why we had not done the sphere and also your cylindrical. So let's start with cuboid again and cube, but I'll be teaching you how to give light and shadow effect. So first, let me take a fresh page where I'll be teaching you what is the meaning of light and shadow. Okay. Now, wherever there is sunlight, suppose the light is coming from left side, it is falling on the object from left upward side. So let's draw a simple shape, any shape. Let's draw a cuboid here. Let's draw a cuboid. Again, the two sides are equal, which is rectangular, and one more box over here behind it, the same way as we have done this one, and then we will be joining these two lines. Okay, let me correct it first. Then we will join these two boxes like this. Erase extra lines. Wherever unnecessary lines are there, just erase those lines, and we have got a perfect cuboid. Okay. 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 So our cuboid is ready. Now I was telling you that suppose the sun is here, means the light is coming from upward left side. So it is obvious that the shadow will fall on this side, the right side of the object. So this is very important when you want to show, or when you start with shading. You should always be very careful from where the light is coming and and where the shadow is falling. So as we have taken an example, that from the left upward side the sunlight or the light, any light is coming, so the shadow will fall obviously this side. So this is very important, as we have learned how to give tones and shading effect. So we can give shading in this cuboid now. So I think I should use a 6B here. So now the light is coming from this side, so obviously this side will be darker. I'm using hatching here. the straight hatching I'm using here, which will give you a clear idea. Only on the right side the shadow will be there. Also we can also add we can also give cross hatching for giving the dark tones to the object like this. Then I'll make a dark outline to it to give the perfect corners this way. Now we'll be learning how to give shadow. So for giving shadow, what I'll be doing is here on the right side we'll just have to add a line like this, which will be very clear that here the shadow of the cuboid is falling. So this is again hatching and cross hatching. I'm using hatching and cross hatching to give the shadow effect which is falling on the ground on the right side of the object. Why? Because left side, from left side the light is coming. To give the lighter effect, in this way we'll do. To differentiate between the object and the shadow, we will have to give a dark stroke here, which will be very clearly telling that where the shadow is falling. You can also use eraser for giving the perfect shading effect in this way. Just erase extra lines wherever it is, and I think this is done. So in this way we give light and shadow effect. Now you can observe, it shows the drawing which we have done shows that from the top left corner the light is coming and right bottom corner the shadow is falling. So in this way with the cross hatching we'll be doing this. This is very useful. This video is very useful for the students, those who are doing or those who are opted for drawing subject and want to make a career in art field. This is very important to learn these things. So again I'm telling you, please do lot of practice to just do it perfectly. In this way we can use eraser also to give the proper shadow and light effect. Now as we had not done sphere as a solid shape because we were into process of learning the shading, so let's see how to give shading to a sphere. So we'll just draw a circle, again a hand in a circular motion like this. Find out the exact circle among these lines and erase extra lines. Now for showing you the light and shadow effect, why I have used these two different shape objects, so that you can understand the difference how to give shading to a circle or to a rectangle. So let's see how to do that. Okay, as I have drawn a circle here, now I'll be showing you how to give shadow effect to it. Now the light is coming from this side again and shadow will definitely fall on the right side of it. So here I'll be giving cross hatching. Let me use another pencil for it. I'm using 10B. Hatching. First, starting with cross hatching, I'm moving upwards with only hatching to give the light effect to the sphere. Then here just make a circle like this and then give shadow effect. Now wherever you want dark effect, there will be using cross hatching. If you want to give light effect, there you will be using only hatching. So this is how we will give the shading. After this, I'll be using eraser to give the finishing touch to my sphere like this. So the extra lines or shadow will be erased and it will give you a perfect shape of the sphere. For learning drawing and shading, painting, anything which you are learning started with me, the only basic thing is practice. Again and again I say my student that you have to do a lot of practice, which will definitely give you perfection. So in this way we give shading to the sphere and it will start looking like a solid shape again. So we have completed light and shadow effects. I think I'm clear. If you have any questions or doubts, you can definitely write in the comment box. I'll be helping you out and I'll be giving you all the answers to the question wherever you are needed, wherever the doubts are there. So this is our light and shadow effect. Now moving on to perspective drawing, as I have told you at the very first that what are the topics we are going to cover today. So one topic was perspective drawing. I'll be giving you a small idea of it and then we'll stop here and we'll do this in our third session, which will be on next Thursday, Thursday the same time, 4 p.m. Now before moving on to this perspective drawing, I want to ask you one question, that what is the meaning of perspective? So yes, very correct, that perspective, the word perspective comes from perception. Now how we see to the things is give us the perspective of that object or that scene. So I'll give you a very short and a small idea what we are going to do in this perspective drawing, which will give you a basic idea and you'll be ready in my next session with that perspective drawing to learn the perspective drawing. So the basic thing which comes into perspective drawing is what is far and what is near. The things which are lying or the things which are very far from us will always be shown very small. The things which are very near to us will be appear bigger. This is the only concept of perspection or perspective drawing. For example, the sun is very far from us, we'll be showing the sun very small. If the trees are, or a man or anything, any object which is near to us will be very big, or as compared to the sun it will be big. So this is called perspective. A very small example, if I draw here and give you, is road. A simple road. When we want to show that road is going so far and I'm standing here at the end of the road and seeing it, so how we will draw it? We will just draw these two lines in this way, as we have already learned how to draw the slanting lines. Two slanting lines, one line slanted on the right side and one line slanting on the left side. So this will give us a perspective of a road, and it shows us that the end of the road is very narrow. Why? Because it is so far from us, and the road which is where I am standing and seeing will be big or wide. So this wide and narrow thing shows us the perspective drawing. So I have just given you an idea how to start with this perspective drawing. This session will be on next Thursday at 4 p.m. So let's be ready with your papers and pencils or drawing book. Also, please do practice what we have done today, and also comment, did you like my video, or if you want to learn something else, definitely comment. Also ask me questions if you need, if you feel, if any doubt, you can definitely write me in the comment box. Friends, I would also like to tell you one more thing. As our Ganpati festival is coming, so very soon I'll be taking more workshops on that. If you wish to join those workshops, you can definitely join my workshop, or you can see my lives if I plan for that. Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you will practice and join my next class, which is on Thursday at 4 p.m. Thank you so much. Bye bye. Take care.